One of the ones I feel is completely ignored is the jewelry issue. If you talk to anybody from Alberta Health Services or Alberta Public Health or any of the places, one of the things they worry about is the potential of infections from body piercing. Now, when you break that down, okay, we do have minimum standards for how surfaces are cleaned. We do have minimum standards for how tools are reused. We do have minimum requirements for how needles are used. But we don't have anything in play on what goes into the person. The closest thing we have is 316L or LVM recommended. That's it. Now, that's bullshit. Like, to put it like as realistically as possible, that is utter and complete bullshit. Now, if you have a piece of jewelry in your body that is a constant irritant to your body, you're keeping your wounds open drastically longer than they need to be. So what happens when you keep a wound open for a long time? Your chances of infection skyrocket because you now have an open wound that you're walking around that can't heal because it's under constant irritation due to either the jewelry that's in it or the aftercare products that are constantly recommended that are completely bogus. So you're shooting yourself in the foot for hoping to do any good because you're not getting rid of the main issue that's provoking a lot of the infections. If your wound is kept open for an excessively long period of time, like I dealt with a girl that had cheek piercings that were still open after 2 years. Now, 2 years, and we take out the jewelry and the hole is still like oozing and bleeding. That's 2 years that this person has had an open hole in their face, preventing from being healed from the jewelry that they were wearing being shitty. Now, why is the health board not regulating that? I don't know. They've told me it's not on their regulations, so they can't enforce it. And I've asked them how to get it on their regulations, and I've gotten mixed reviews, and I've gotten mixed cooperation throughout the years over it. But when it comes down to it, if you have a mirror finish on your jewelry, the surface of the metal itself is not an irritant to the body. So if it's not an irritant to the body, suddenly your skin heals around it and easier. That's awesome. And then you have the implant grade standards that clearly state free of sharp edges and free of tool marks. Those are in the regulations for anybody else putting metal inside the human body outside of the body mod industry, because we're unfortunately not regulated on it, which I think is crazy. And those sharp edges and those tool marks will be constant irritants to the body. That's why they have to be free of them in everybody else's regulations. So why are we putting externally threaded jewelry in people still? That's gross, because you're having to drag those sharp, nasty threads through a hole to insert this jewelry. That's both sharp edges and tool marks, so that already can't possibly meet the implant grade standards. And then the way the threads together, there's a gap left, and that gap will just allow for all of the biological discharge that's provoked by the poor finish on the jewelry and the tearing caused from dragging those sharp, nasty threads through the hole to collect and fester and rot. So you're now, again, increasing the chances of infection.